3.
And greetings once again to the Capt Fizz and Mask Guy podcast, brought to you live from the 7th Moon of Thunder.
Once again, we're not live.
It just sounds better when I go off and say live. We'll be live someday.
Someday. Over the Lambo. No.
Yeah, thank you, Julie. And this is, I believe, our first ever Tuesday podcast, brought to you on June 23rd, 2015.
I just realized it is a Tuesday.
It is a Tuesday, and it is episode 5 of our podcast.
The Empire Strikes Back.
Which is the best episode.
Absolutely.
That was the best, so this may end up being the best episode.
This is the first time we've actually been so off course we can't even introduce ourselves.
Well, no, I mean, I am El Homer Loco and Masquerado, better known simply as That Mask Guy. Forget about the loco part, it's not funny anymore. And of course, this is
Captain Fizz.
Yes. I'm trying to think of something really smart to say. I'm
Captain Jack Sparrow when he lost his ship.
Okay, I was going to say you're the Hal Jordan to my Oliver Queen.
So you're a queen now.
Well, actually, I thought about it the other way around, but never mind. We'll just stick with that.
Yeah, you're the queen.
I'm the queen. Yes, well, hey.
I'm sorry, Your Royal Highness.
It's good to be the queen.
Okay,
so, it's actually going to be an interesting podcast. A lot has actually happened within the last 72 hours since our last podcast. But before we actually go any further, I gotta ask you, how was the marathon? You participated in a half marathon, and
I've never been so happy to see everybody waiting for me. It's like they were begging for me to finish.
Yes, I actually picked you up afterwards.
Almost literally.
Yes. I'm surprised. You looked kind of dazed and confused.
The grass was looking really comfy. I started walking towards. I looked sideways. I saw shade. I saw grass. I went thunk. It was very comfy. A lot of people were confused. I was confused. I didn't want to get up. I did not want to get up.
Yeah, so
I belly flopped my bed when I got home.
You belly flopped. But before that, I picked you up. I brought you a bottle of cold water.
We'll not talk about that.
Let's just say...
Do not drink cold water after running a half marathon.
Okay, more actually, to be more specific, do not gulp down ice cold water.
You try running a half marathon in heat and then decide not to gulp down water.
But maybe it would have been a little bit more intelligent to actually sip the water.
No, it would have been more intelligent not to run in the first place.
Hey, I hear you, man. I hear you. But you know what? I mean, honestly, you surpassed what anybody actually expected. You did it in... I think the official time was 2 hours, 38 minutes?
2 hours, 38 minutes,
which,
and 14 seconds.
Yeah, the seconds don't count. And considering that, you honestly, no one actually expected you to actually be able to do it in even less than...
I don't think anyone expected me to finish.
Well, I expected you to finish. I just thought, it might take you... 3 or 4 hours, not like less.
See, when I signed up, one of the questions I asked was the finish line padded so I can crawl across. I did not have to crawl.
You did not, so good on you. You've done something that the vast majority of people wouldn't even dream of doing.
They'd be out of breath thinking about it.
I'm out of breath thinking about it, never mind.
You're out of breath waking up.
Touche. Yes, I'm definitely...
I'll get you out there.
I'm definitely more than a little bit overweight.
I'll get you out there. I was looking forward to someone being in the stands waving me on as I, possibly walked into my death.
So while you were doing that, I think I was in the middle of making breakfast for my son.
Yeah, I think I messaged you saying, "Yeah, I'm almost at the finish line," and you thought I was crazy.
I thought you were absolutely nuts. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, no.
The fact that you actually had the energy to text me while you were, running, amazed me alone.
Well, and the worst part is I think I'm actually planning to do this again in September.
Yeah.
Just not as long.
But it's going to be uphill.
Uphill, downhill, side hill, backwards hill, rolling down the hill.
So yeah, you're nuts, but I mean, hey, I if I had a hat, I would tip my hat to you, but I guess I don't, so I'll have to tip my mask to you.
I tip my hat to myself.
There you go.
See, that race made me really wish I was a captain with an actual boat. And slaves.
It's
so they can row the boat for me. I do not agree with slavery. I'm not entirely sure if condone is the right word. I think condone is the right word. I am too tired to realize. I am the captain.
You are the captain.
What I say goes.
Without a ship.
Without a ship.
Although there is technically a boat parked in your backyard.
There is a boat parked in my backyard. So I wouldn't say parked. You can't park a boat.
Well, okay, fine. It's on the trailer in your backyard.
Touché.
Okay. So the trailer is parked. Therefore, the boat is parked.
No. You can never park a boat. You can park the trailer, but you can't park a boat.
Okay. Potato. Let's just call the whole thing off.
If the boat is on land, it's grounded.
Like you were for most of your adolescence?
I have no comment on that.
Okay, so the walrus said to the carpenter, "Let us speak of other things." This has been a big couple of days.
So I'm the carpenter and you're the walrus?
Well, considering that I am kind of walrus-shaped, I suppose.
He said it, not me.
Yes, I sort of put myself down.
We should start with the condolences this week.
Yes. So a big condolence. James Horner, a composer for Star Trek 2 and 3, The Amazing Spider-Man, Avatar,
Braveheart,
died in when his private plane crashed.
Yeah. I believe he was the only one in the plane.
I don't really know too many details about this.
Yeah, I was watching the news, it popped up, I messaged you right away. We knew it was something we should definitely bring up. He
has, I think there are, few composers that have meant so much to the genre that you and I love so much, science fiction and fantasy, as James Horner. I think the only other one I can think of is, I can't even believe, John Williams.
John Williams, yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe I almost had a brain fart on that.
John Williams is a name you can't forget, which,
But James Horner.
Horner is the name. No one really knows who he is, but they know his music. He was also best known for the music for Titanic.
Okay, I'll try not to hold that against him.
I think he had the rights for the music for the wannabe Canadian Celine Dion. Wannabe, as in States, you can keep her.
I'm not even sure. I know last time I heard she was in Vegas, but that's kind of besides the point here.
That's where celebrities go to die.
Oh, and see, I thought it was the 8th Moon of Thunder, because I always figured that's where Johnny Depp's career went.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's also apparently where hockey is reborn.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, if, Jeff Jarrett can start a Global Force Wrestling down there, then, maybe hockey will actually do something.
Wrestling is a lot different than hockey, where you need ice. And the only ice in Vegas is in the drinks.
And even then, you may not want to trust the ice.
Pretty much.
There was someone else who passed away. I'm trying to remember. I know that...
yes, you hand me your notes.
Hand me your notes. I put my notes down because I hate holding this.
Dick Van Putten.
Dick Van Dyke. Not Dick Van Dyke. Dick Van Patten.
Oh. I like Putin.
My apologies. I can't believe. Dick Van Patten, best known for playing the Patriarch and 8 is Enough. He also was King Roland in Spaceballs.
Spaceballs!
And
the only thing that is almost equal to Star Wars.
George Lucas apparently absolutely loved that. And
Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Robin Hood Men in Tights was another one. He also did...
Which sounds like a really bad porn show.
Well, I mean, what do you expect? It's, Mel Brooks.
That is true.
That is true. Mel Brooks, I mean, is...
A really bad porn show director.
Hey, he's, hey, don't mock Mel Brooks. He's in...
for a second there, I thought you were going to say don't mock bad porn.
You can mock bad porn all you want. Okay, but Mel Brooks has an EGOT winner. The Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony. Don't look at me like that.
I can look at you any way I want.
Yeah, you're rude.
That's rude. Besides the point.
Okay. He made a lot of special appearances. He actually won that
126.
He is credited to 153 roles.
Right.
And the other one that really stands out in my mind is he had a guest appearance on Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman. So he is actually very ingrained
in what we
do. And I was telling you before we came on, it's funny because, of course, he was best known for 8 is Enough. Mark Hamill, who is Luke Skywalker, he actually was cast to be on the show and actually appeared in the first episode of the show. Pilot, thank you. And he went off to do Star Wars and was very famous after that. And they were really excited, and they were going to keep him on, but then he got into a car accident, and he actually had to have reconstructive surgery done on his face. So he was out for a while. That's why, if anyone's wondering why he looks so different between Episode 4, New Hope, and Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back. And so they had to recast the role. So it's kind of funny because then Dick Van Patten went off and appeared in a movie that parodies Star Wars several years later. Spaceballs, exactly. So
another really bad porn show. Balls in space.
Spaceballs. Hide your mother, hide your father. Sorry.
Here come the Spaceballs.
There actually was a cartoon series called Spaceballs, and I believe Dick Van Patten actually revived his role as King Roland in the series.
See, it just sounds funny. You got a guy whose first name is Dick. You got a TV show called Spaceballs. It just sounds like a really awful porn show. And porn name.
So anyways, our condolences to both of them. In the professional wrestling world, the Nature Boy, Buddy Landel, also passed away. The guy had...
Nature Boy, not to be confused with Ric Flair.
Or Buddy Rogers, who, honestly, in my opinion anyways, Buddy Rogers and Ric Flair were really the only two that truly deserved the Nature Boy title. Buddy Landel, he looked at one point as to have a really promising career, and his own demons and kind of it prevented his career from getting to progressing further than it ended up.
Demons seems to be a very common thing in wrestling.
It really is. It's quite sad. I know that WWE is kind of trying to change that by doing their wellness program and stuff, but. Unfortunately, I think, maybe it came a little too late. They've reached out and tried to help some other wrestlers.
They've also swept a few other unfortunate cases under the carpet. And washed their hands of a lot of their own fault.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of cases where, I feel like I have to chase the rabbit down the hole a little bit. There's a particular individual who WWE refuses to say by name, even though you can see him on the WWE Network, and of course
Chris Benoit.
Chris Benoit, and
we are not ashamed to say his name.
We're not ashamed. I kind of view him as almost anyone else. I choose to put blinders So I go up and I see it at surface, for surface